Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're not just looking at, say, a business strategy book. We're digging into a philosophy, really. A powerful one found in Mandino's classic, The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Right. And it's fascinating because on the surface, it looks like it's about sales. But the core idea is much, much deeper. It's really a framework for internal transformation, all wrapped up in this allegory.
Exactly. And our main character, Hafid, the success described is just staggering. We're talking, over 10 million gold talents by the end of his career?
Yeah, it's almost hard to wrap your head around that level of wealth in the ancient world. It's immense.
And then the twist, he gets rid of it all, liquidates this vast empire, gives the money away to the poor, but holds on to one thing.
One small cedar chest, hidden away. And that chest, well, that's the heart of our deep dive today. Inside are 10 ancient scrolls.
These are the principles, the laws that supposedly took Hafid from being, a failure, basically, a camel boy.
Yeah, a position really looked down upon.
To becoming the greatest salesman in the world.
So our mission here is to unpack these 10 scrolls. We want to see how they fit together, how they build this system for personal growth.
And see if it really holds up today, right? Not just for selling things, but for, achieving big goals or getting a message across.
Definitely. But before we jump into scroll 1, we need a little context on where they came from. Hafid didn't just find these. He received them from his mentor, Pathros.
And it wasn't just a casual handover, was it? There was this symbolic event. Something about a star over Bethlehem.
Right. And Hafid giving away this valuable red robe, the only thing he had to sell, to help a newborn baby in a cave. It was this act of spontaneous charity that triggered Pathros giving him the scrolls.
And there was a catch, a big one.
A huge condition. Pathros made Hafid promise he could only ever share the scroll's contents with one other person.
And he wouldn't know who that person was until some kind of special sign appeared.
Exactly. Which really elevates these scrolls, doesn't it? It's not just advice. It's treated like a sacred trust, passed down carefully.
Which leads us to the very first rule, the foundation laid out in Scroll 1. It seems to challenge everything we think we know about gaining expertise.
It really does. Because Scroll I basically says, forget experience. Focus on principles and habits. That's where the power lies.
Okay, let's dig into that. Scroll I. Today I begin a new life. That title alone is a massive statement. How does it frame this shedding of the past?
The language is powerful. It talks about shedding the old skin that suffered failure and mediocrity. It's like a command to be literally reborn, to leave behind everything that didn't work.
It calls failure and mediocrity bruises and wounds.
Exactly. And it says this new life starts now in a vineyard where there is fruit for all.
Yeah.
So it's immediate and optimistic.
But the rejection of experience, that's the part that really jumps out. In almost any field today, experience is king. Why does the scroll argue it's overrated?
Well, the argument is that experience, while it teaches you things, often teaches you too late. It takes years, maybe a whole lifetime, to learn some lessons.
And by then, maybe the world has changed anyway.
Precisely. The scroll suggests what worked yesterday might be useless today. So relying only on past experience can actually hold you back. It keeps you stuck in old ways.
So experience gives scars, maybe some wisdom, but principles. Principles are timeless.
That's the idea. Principles endure. They're the navigation tools, not just the memory of past journeys.
Okay, so if we're aiming for this new life, guided by principles, what's the actual goal? Success means different things to different people.
True, and the scroll acknowledges that. But it gives a really stark definition of failure. Failure is simply man's inability to reach his goals in life, whatever they may be. It's universal.
So the scrolls are designed almost defensively, more to prevent failure than guarantee success.
In a way, yes. By following these laws, you build a foundation that makes failure much less likely, regardless of how you specifically define success.
Which brings us to the absolute core mechanism of this first scroll. How do you make these principles stick?
Through habit. This is maybe the most famous line. I will form good habits and become their slave.
Become their slave. That's strong language.
It is. And the logic is pretty blunt.
Yeah.
We're all slaves to habits anyway, good or bad. So the only rational thing to do is consciously choose the good ones. You can't just stop a bad habit. You have to replace it.
Okay, so how? How do you install these new habits? This leads to the reading ritual, right?
Yes, the practical application. It's a very specific, disciplined routine. You focus on one scroll for 30 days straight before moving to the next. 3 readings a day.
First thing in the morning, in silence?
Right. Then again, after the midday meal, also in silence.
But the evening one is different. That's the crucial one for embedding it.
Absolutely. The third reading, just before bed, must be read aloud. The idea is that the words need to seep into my other mind, the subconscious, the part that never sleeps.
So you're programming yourself while awake and while asleep, essentially.
Pretty much. The scroll promises that if you do this, you'll start waking up with more energy, and the actions required by the scrolls will start feeling easier, more natural.
Because practice makes things easy, and ease makes it pleasurable, which locks in the habit.
Exactly. That structured repetition is the bedrock for everything else that follows.
A serious commitment. Okay, so once that foundation of habit formation is set, where do we go next? The scrolls seem to move into the inner game.
Right. Scroll 2 shifts focus to attitude, to the emotional energy you bring. It's titled, I will greet this day with love in my heart.
Now, this is one that I think people might struggle with, especially in a competitive context like sales, love. Isn't that a bit soft?
It definitely sounds that way on the surface. But Mandino frames it strategically. He calls love the greatest secret of success and even a weapon.
A weapon? How so?
The scroll argues that muscle can destroy, but love opens hearts. It's the one force your opponents, or maybe just skeptical customers, can't really defend against. If someone mistrusts your words or your offer, it's this warmth, this genuine acceptance, that's what can break down the barriers.
So it's not about being sentimental, it's about creating connection and disarming suspicion.
Exactly. It's less about emotion and more about radiating a non-threatening positive energy. Like the sun melting cold clay, as the scroll puts it.
How do you cultivate that? Just decide to be loving?
Well, it requires practice. The scroll talks about learning to love everything, the sun and the rain, happiness and sadness, rewards and obstacles. It's about achieving a kind of emotional equilibrium.
So you're not dependent on external circumstances for your internal state.
Right. And then there are specific instructions for communication.
Laud your enemies. Encourage your friends.
Yeah, turn enemies into friends, friends into brothers. And the really concrete rules. If you're tempted to criticize someone, bite your tongue. Literally say nothing.
But if you feel praise,
shout it from the rooftops. The idea is to consciously shift your entire communication style towards positivity and encouragement.
Okay, practically speaking then, Hafid walks up to someone he wants to sell to. What does he do with this love philosophy?
The instruction is incredibly simple, yet profound. In silence, mentally, address every person you meet with the words, I love you.
Just internally.
Internally. But the scroll insists this silent sentiment will manifest externally in your eyes, your smile, the tone of your voice. People pick up on that genuine warmth, even if they don't know why.
And the theory is, if someone feels that non-demanding warmth, they're far less likely to reject you or your goods.
That's the promise. Who is there who will say nay to my goods when greeted with that energy?
Okay, so love is the approach. But sales and life involve rejection. A lot of it. How do you keep going? That brings us to scroll 3.
I will persist until I succeed. This one tackles resilience head-on. It's about forging an identity that refuses defeat.
It starts with that strong image separating yourself from the sheep.
Yes, I am a lion and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. The sheep end up in the slaughterhouse of failure. That's not the destiny for the one following these scrolls. It's a declaration of intent.
And then there's that striking analogy about testing bulls in the arena.
Right. A young bull's courage is judged by how many times it keeps charging the picador, even after feeling the sting of the lance. Life, the scroll says, tests us the same way every single day.
The rejection, the setbacks, the failures, those are the picador's lances.
And persistence is charging again anyway, knowing you'll get stung, but doing it regardless.
The core message seems to be that success could be just one more attempt away.
Exactly. You might fail 1,000 times, but success could be hiding just beyond the next step. You never know how close you are. So the rule is simple. Always will take another step. And if that doesn't work, take another.
Because the only way to guarantee failure is to stop trying.
Precisely. And this applies even to seemingly huge obstacles. The analogy of the oak tree is great here.
Right. One chop with an axe doesn't fell an oak.
No. Each blow seems tiny, insignificant, but enough small blows, repeated consistently. Eventually, the giant oak will fall. It's the same with any big task. Small attempts, repeated relentlessly, get it done.
Like the raindrop wearing away the mountain.
Or the slave building a pyramid brick by brick. It's the power of relentless, cumulative effort.
This scroll also talks about the law of averages, but in a motivating way. How does that work?
It reframes failure. Instead of seeing a no as a setback, you see it as progress. Each rejection actually increases the statistical probability of the next attempt being a yes.
So every nay literally brings you closer to a yay.
That's the mindset. Misfortune isn't final, it's just part of the process. You have to fail often to succeed eventually. You just need to stay in the game.
And scroll 3 gives a very specific practical secret for persistence, a daily habit.
Yes, the ultimate persistence hack, maybe. At the end of the day, whether it was good or bad, you must attempt one more sale.
Just one more.
One more. And if that fails, attempt another one. The point is, you never, ever end your workday on a failure. You push until you get that last bit of effort in, even when you're exhausted.
While everyone else is packed up and gone home.
Exactly. That's where the edge comes from. That one extra step builds an insurmountable advantage over time.
That's powerful. So we have habits, love as an approach, persistence as fuel. What about the inevitable emotional ups and downs? That leads to scroll 6, right?
Yes. Today, I will be master of my emotions. This acknowledges that moods fluctuate naturally. It compares it to nature, the tides, the seasons, the sun and moon. Everything moves in cycles.
So it's normal to feel joy one day and sadness the next.
Completely normal. The scroll says today's sadness carries the seed of tomorrow's joy. It's just the natural rhythm of life.
But the salesman, or anyone striving for a goal, can't afford to be tossed around by these waves.
Exactly. You can't be a victim of your internal weather. The instruction is clear. Make my own weather. If you project gloom, you'll get gleam back. If you project joy and enthusiasm, you'll reap a harvest. You have to generate the positive state internally, regardless of how you actually feel.
Which brings us to probably the most counterintuitive point in this scroll. How you gain control.
Right. The secret is profound. Weak is he who permits his thoughts to control his actions. Strong is he who forces his actions to control his thoughts.
So action comes before the feeling, not the other way around.
Precisely. Most people wait to feel motivated or happy or confident before they act. This scroll demands you act as if you feel that way, and the feeling will follow the action.
So if you feel down, you don't sit and analyze why. What?
You sing. That's the specific instruction. If you feel sick, you double your workload. If you feel afraid, you plunge ahead anyway. These are prescribed actions designed to short-circuit the negative emotion.
Force the body and mind into a different state through deliberate action.
Exactly. It's a battle plan against negative moods.
But it also warns against the dangers of positive emotions, like overconfidence.
Yes, the discipline cuts both ways. If you feel overconfident, you must recall past failures to ground yourself. If you feel overly proud, remember a moment of weakness or humility.
Try to stop the wind, as the scroll says.
Yeah, an impossible task to bring you back to reality. Overconfidence can be just as destructive as despair, maybe even more insidious because it feels good.
Mastering those internal swings seems crucial, and that leads nicely into scroll 7, which offers a different kind of emotional tool.
I will laugh at the world. This reframes resilience as something joyful. Laughter is presented as a uniquely human gift.
And a practical tool, like it actually helps you.
Yes, the scroll claims it improves digestion, lightens burdens, even lengthens life. And crucially, the main target for this laughter should be yourself.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly. Man is most comical when he takes himself too seriously. Perspective is key. These daily struggles seem huge now, but in the grand scheme of things,
They're insignificant. But what about real adversity? True pain or deep offense? Laughter might feel impossible then.
that's where the scroll offers its most powerful mantra. 4 simple words to be repeated until they become automatic. This too shall pass.
The ultimate perspective shifter.
It really is. It's like an instant dose of stoicism. When you're heartbroken, remind yourself, this too shall pass. When you're basking in success, remind yourself, this too shall pass.
Even the pyramids won't last forever.
Right. If empires rise and fall, if mountains erode, then surely this current problem, however large it looms, is also temporary. It detaches you from the immediacy of the pain or the elation.
And the practical way to live this scroll.
Stay busy. Remain too busy to be sad. Don't chase happiness directly. Find it through productive action and a light heart. See laughter and kindness as valuable in themselves, a smile exchanged for gold, a kind word building a castle.
And never get too important to laugh at yourself.
Never. That humility keeps you grounded.
Okay, we've covered habits, love, persistence, emotional mastery, laughter. Now the focus seems to shift towards self-perception and value. Scroll 4.
I am nature's greatest miracle. This is a huge affirmation of inherent worth.
Based on uniqueness.
Entirely. The scroll emphasizes that since the dawn of time, there has never been anyone exactly like you, your mind, your heart, your abilities. No one can replicate your unique way of doing things, including selling.
So don't try to be someone else. Leverage your own unique blueprint.
Exactly. Stop imitating others and capitalize on this difference. Recognize you're the culmination of millennia of evolution, equipped with incredible potential.
But there's a warning, too, isn't there, about untapped potential?
Yes. We only use a tiny fraction of our brain power, our physical capacity. The goal isn't to stay small like a grain of sand, but to grow into a mountain, to fulfill that miracle status.
Growing requires focus. And this scroll has a very specific, almost stark instruction about managing focus between work and home life.
It does. It commands a kind of compartmentalization. You must divorce the problems of home from the marketplace and vice versa. Keep them separate.
Why? That sounds difficult.
Because if you let worries from one sphere bleed into the other, both suffer. Worry about home while trying to sell, and your career fails. Bring work stress home, and your family life suffers. It demands mental discipline to be fully present in each domain.
This scroll also reframes challenges, doesn't it? Like scroll 3 did with failure.
Yes. All problems, setbacks, heartaches, they aren't just obstacles. They are great opportunities in disguise. You shouldn't be fooled by their appearance. They're chances to prove your unique strength.
Since you're nature's miracle, and nature knows no defeat,
Then you too are destined to overcome.
that sense of potential leads directly into valuing our most limited resource, time. Scroll V.
I will live this day as if it is my last. This creates an intense, immediate sense of urgency.
How? What's the core action?
To seal up the container of life. So not one drop is wasted today. Yesterday is gone, buried. Don't waste a second mourning it or regretting it.
And tomorrow.
Tomorrow is uncertain? Maybe. Why throw away the certainty of now for the maybe of tomorrow? Don't fret about problems that might never even happen. Today is all you truly possess.
Treat today as your only eternity.
Exactly. It's a priceless gift. Every minute is precious, invaluable, because it will never come again. It's about living with intense presence.
And to protect this precious today, the scroll identifies specific killers of time to destroy.
3 main ones. Procrastination, destroy it with action. Doubt, bury it under faith. Fear, dismember it with confidence. You have to actively fight these things that steal your present moment.
There's even an ethical angle. Wasting time is like stealing from your loved ones.
Right, I am not a thief.
Yeah.
It frames idleness as a betrayal of responsibility.
So if today is the last day, it needs to be the best day.
Your greatest monument, labor harder, push further than ever before, make this day count maximally.
And not just in work, but in relationships too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The duties are specific. Show affection to your children, embrace your partner, help a friend, give fully of yourself in both work and sacrifice. It's about maximizing positive impact today.
That idea of maximizing output flows right into Scroll A8, doesn't it? Moving from just living today well to actively multiplying value.
Yes. Today, I will multiply my value 100-fold. This is about ambition and scale.
It starts with analogies about transformation.
Right. How man's touch transforms things. A mulberry leaf into silk, clay into a castle, wool into royal robes. If we can multiply the value of external things, surely we can multiply our own value.
Which leads to the wheat choice.
A powerful metaphor. A grain of wheat can be thrown to pigs, ground into flour for basic sustenance, or planted to multiply itself 1,000 times over.
The wheat can't choose its fate, but we can.
Exactly. We choose. Will we be consumed passively, or will we actively plant ourselves to grow and multiply? Hafid chooses to multiply.
How do you multiply value 100-fold? Through goal setting.
Massive goal setting. The instruction is to set goals 100 times higher than your best previous achievement. Aim ridiculously high.
Isn't that setting yourself up for failure?
The scroll argues the opposite. Is it not better to aim my spear at the moon and strike only an eagle than to aim my spear at the eagle and strike only a rock? Aiming high pulls your performance up, even if you don't hit the ultimate target.
Aim for the moon, you might reach the stars. Aim for the fence post, you might hit the nerd.
Something like that, yeah. And to lock in this ambition, there's the vow to the world.
Announcing your huge goals publicly, why do that? That seems risky.
It's a commitment device. Once you've told the world what you intend to do, there's no escape. The social pressure helps ensure you follow through. It makes backing down much harder.
But you don't brag about accomplishments afterwards?
No. Announce the goal, achieve it, but receive any praise with humility. Let the results speak for themselves.
Results come from action. Which brings us, inevitably, to scroll 9x.
I will act now. This is the capstone for all the internal work. It says dreams, plans, goals, love, persistence. None of it means anything without immediate action.
Action is the fuel.
It's the food and drink that nourishes success. This scroll also revisits the idea that inaction stems from fear. Procrastination is just fear in disguise.
And the cure for fear is?
Action. Always action. Taking action, however small, shrinks a line of terror to an ant of equanimity. You don't wait for fear to go away. You act despite the fear, and the fear diminishes because you acted.
Like forcing your actions to control your thoughts in scroll 6.
Exactly the same principle, applied now to overcoming the inertia of fear.
The firefly metaphor here is beautiful.
Isn't it? The firefly only gives light when it's moving, when it's in action. Be the firefly, generating your own light through work. Don't be the butterfly, just looking pretty, but depending on others for sustenance.
And this need for action becomes the final, crucial habit.
Yes. Repeating the phrase, I will act now, over and over, until it's as automatic as breathing or blinking.
So you leap out of bed while others hesitate. You approach the prospect while others doubt. You knock on the door while others wait fearfully.
Immediate, decisive action. Only action determines my value in the marketplace, and to multiply my value, I will multiply my actions. It connects value directly to the volume and immediacy of action.
Okay, so the first 9 scrolls give us the mindset, the tools, the energy, the drive, what's missing. Scroll X seems to provide the final essential piece.
I will pray for guidance. This brings in a layer of humility and higher purpose. It acknowledges a universal instinct.
The instinct to cry for help?
Yes. All living things seem to have it. The scroll suggests this instinct wouldn't exist unless there was some higher power capable of hearing and responding.
But the prayer isn't for stuff, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Crucially, hafid is instructed never to pray for material things, not gold, health, love, fame, easy wins. Those are the results you achieve through applying the first 9 scrolls. You don't petition God like a servant.
So what do you pray for?
Only one thing: guidance. Specifically, you pray for the wisdom and ability to make the most of the opportunities that come your way. You ask for help to properly use the potential you already have.
You accept that guidance might come as clarity, or sometimes as silence, or even as obstacles that redirect you.
Right. Both receiving guidance and not receiving what you expected are considered answers. It's about aligning your efforts with a purpose beyond just personal gain.
And the specific prayer outlined, the salesman's prayer, really encapsulates the whole philosophy.
It does. He asks for guidance to learn from failure, to understand hate, to keep trying, persistence again, to have patience, to remain humble. It's like a summary of all the virtues needed. It puts the ambition in service of something greater, tempered by humility.
That sense of higher purpose really connects to the end of Hafid's story, the arrival of the person he was waiting for.
Yes. After years of waiting in retirement, long after his wife Leisha died, nearly 3 years just waiting in his palace after giving away his fortune.
This stranger arrives in Damascus, Saul of Tarsus.
A Roman citizen, formerly a fierce persecutor of the followers of Jesus. He'd come to Damascus intending to arrest them.
But something happened on the road. Paul, as he becomes known, tells Hafid about this blinding light, a voice.
A voice telling him to find the greatest salesman in the world for instruction. And then Paul produces the proof.
The red robe. The very same one Hafid gave away in that Bethlehem cave decades earlier.
Tattered, stained, but Hafid recognizes the specific markings: Tol's star, Pathros' circle in a square. The sign. After all those years, the sign is confirmed.
And Hafid knows Paul is the one, the only one he can give the scrolls to.
He fulfills his promise. Paul becomes the third custodian. And crucially, according to Pathros' original instructions, Paul is the one finally permitted, obligated, even to share the scroll's wisdom with the entire world.
Which is just, wow, the ultimate twist, really.
Isn't it? This system, these 10 scrolls, meticulously crafted to create unparalleled success in commerce, to build immense wealth,
Ends up in the hands of Paul the Apostle.
whose mission wasn't selling goods at all, but spreading a spiritual message that would change the course of history. It suggests the principles themselves are fundamental, applicable to any grand purpose.
So looking back, the 10 scrolls form this complete arc, starting with building foundational habits in scroll I, moving through mastering the inner game love, persistence, emotions, perspective, then defining self-worth and maximizing time and value, driving it all with action.
and culminating in Scroll X, seeking guidance to ensure it's all directed purposefully and humbly. It's a system for moving from internal weakness to external effective action.
And the fact that this powerful system for selling was ultimately passed to someone whose product was faith or message, that really broadens the scope, doesn't it?
It implies these principles, habit, love, persistence, action, humility, seeking guidance, aren't just for building a business. They're a formula for achieving any significant life-altering goal or for spreading any message you believe in deeply.
So the final thought for you, listening. Paul was given the freedom, the mandate to share this wisdom. Now that you've had these principles built on habit, persistence, love, action, what great work, what important message, do you feel equipped, maybe even obligated, to act on and share with the world?